See, I was in a good mood. I was in a good mood till you brought it up.
Well, look, you promised the people. You promised the people a Christoff rant, and therefore we have to give them one. Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Rough House Podcast. I'm Marty.
I'm Christoff. Hi, welcome. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for spending some of your podcast time with us. A show where, at least until they start sponsoring us, we will not interrupt our conversation to talk about Omaha steaks.
No, I mean, I like meat.
Yeah.
Had a huge plate of barbecue on Tuesday when I was in Bama, as one is wont to do in the South. Really good. I got deviled eggs too.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
They were fucking killer. Hey, I just lost my camera.
Yeah,
cool.
That's weird. Okay.
That's fun.
That's good.
Right. That's a good start.
It'll be an interesting week for the video viewer. We'll see if that. Oh, there you go.
It just went off on its own. And
all right.
Here we go.
Fantastic.
Apparently didn't like me talking about deviled eggs.
Yeah. Really question. You were in Alabama. Chris was in Alabama this week.
I was.
His day job for his shoot gig, as the workers would say.
Keep sending these gimmicks in the mail called bills. So I got to do something.
Gizimics.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, Alabama's known for the white barbecue sauce. Did you go for any of that?
No, there was no white barbecue sauce.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of white people.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were where you were.
Yeah, it was super hot, but no white barbecue sauce. It was regular barbecue sauce. I went to this place. It may have been. I don't know the deal with the place. It was not very crowded, but it was also 2:00, so post lunch, pre dinner sort of thing.
Yeah. Basically, that sweet spot to go well.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Exactly. So I got deviled eggs, Southern style deviled eggs for an app, which is 3 halves. They were really good, and then they have little cornbread muffins, like little tiny guys that were super moist and slathered in a sweet butter. It was like not a regular butter. It was almost like the whipped butter you put on pancakes. It was that good. Then I got the triple meat combo plate because I'm a lard ass and I'm eating myself into an early grave. And I got brisket, pulled pork, and the smoked sausages, which I usually don't go sausage, but I don't know, I was feeling inspired that day. And the 2 sides were beans and mac. So yeah, that's a heart attack on a plate right there.
Hell yeah, dude.
Wasn't super impressed with the sausage. I don't know what it was, but something about it just didn't seem right. I don't know if it was a seasoning or over smoked. I don't know. But the brisket was on point, and the pulled pork was solid as well. Beans were good. Mac had a really nice cheesy topping crust on top that was hella good. And I got a peach iced tea. Ooh. Now, this isn't just iced tea with like some peach syrup. It was like ground up peaches in that bitch. And it was amazing. I had like 3 of them. I literally almost went into a coma after eating it. It was too much.
Dude, that is a hell of a day. Catch the itis, take a nice nap.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I just went to the airport
okay.
and sat and played Harry Potter Wizards Unite on my phone, which airports are a great place to do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Things popping up all around. The funniest thing about the day is that it was so fucking hot down there. I sweat through my shirt. I sweat through my shirt 3 times.
Jesus.
It was a day trip, so I didn't bring a change of clothes or anything. So I just brought, I wore my suit down, and I wasn't wearing the jacket except for when I was in the hearing. So I just had this shirt that was just drenched in my flop sweat, which is gross. So after I ate all that ridiculous food, I went to the old Google machine and said, "Where's the nearest Walmart?" and went and bought a T-shirt and a little deodorant to save whomever got stuck sitting next to me on the plane ride home. Plus myself. I mean, you can smell yourself.
No, I'm with you.
I will do that public service. I will drop. I'll drop $10 on deodorant and a shirt to not be the stinky guy on the flight. So
that's why you're a good man, Chris. People like to say the wrestling fans, they are the unwashed masses, but Christoff.
I was very unwashed.
Masses.
That day I was unwashed for about 24 hours.
Well, there you go. So in the world of professional wrestling this week, it started depending on
G1.
Yes. No, we're gonna get there. I'm gonna end the show on a high note, Chris.
That's all I want to talk about.
Because we've got like 4 or 5 days of G1 to discuss.
Yeah.
So we'll do that on the second half of the show, especially for the people who are like, I don't want to watch those Japanese wrestlers. Yeah, you can get the second half of the show. First half of the show, WWE this week. Okay, so you and I definitely landed on different places with Extreme Rules.
Well, not entirely. My issue was the finish. My issue solely was Brock Lesnar.
Okay, that's fair.
The show overall, like you, I enjoyed a lot of the matches on there.
I thought it was a pleasantly fun show.
I mean, I think that there was potential for more from each of the matches, but I think for and it's getting harder and harder to separate expectations for different wrestling companies.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, I was just watching WWE. I was a WWE guy and I was into it and everything. And then, then NXT came along and they kind of got their own little sort of style within the WWE mold, which I then fell in love with. And then, as New Japan has expanded and you have, since you joined the show, you're responsible for getting me full on mark mode for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's, it's getting harder to mentally separate what to expect and what is capable of being enjoyed for me personally in terms of wrestling styles.
If I can present a hackneyed analogy for what's happening here, Chris, you are a man who's very, very passionate about music, as am I. But like when you started listening to music, you heard what was on the radio, and I'm sure you had favorites and things you enjoyed from the radio. But let's be honest, that is the marketable poppy version of things. That is the mainstream version of things.
Dude, I had You Can't Touch This on single.
Yeah, and you know what? You can't fuck with that song. You can't fuck with it. But at that same time, as your tastes changed and grew, you found your niche. You started getting deeper and deeper into things, and you found the stuff that spoke to you as a listener.
Right.
You can still respect a good pop song. Like, you can still spot a jam from a mile away.
Oh, yeah.
But fact is, you also love your crazy metal. And that may not be for everyone, but you're passionate about it. You love it. And there are probably times where if you see, I don't know, a band that you really like get a little more mainstream and maybe get a little more poppy, you're sitting there going, I really long for those old days. I think that's kind of the way it might be with WWE. WWE, kind of the pop music of professional wrestling. Not that that's a bad thing. Again, I want to sound as non-critical as I can about that there. But they are shooting for a wider berth than, say, what New Japan is doing.
Yeah, mass appeal. I get it.
Exactly.
And that is a really good analogy, I guess the point now is that, I don't know, New Japan is, I'm not even trying to think of a band right now. My brain's not working. Not so much the Glory Hammer that it's that super niche sort of thing.
Right. Like,
but more of like a Trivium sort of thing where they have, a lot of people are really into them and other people are like, who the fuck are these guys sort of thing. So that's kind of where my brain is. I'm not sure where Lucha Underground falls into it because that's somewhere in between the two. That helped expand my mind.
In the mix or something like that. I don't know.
Good pool. No, so Lucha Underground is my new metal era. With Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park and the first two Godsmack records and
appreciated in its time.
Yeah.
Started to break bad, and there's now a little bit of like a wincing when you admit that you loved it as much as you did.
I have zero shame. I give zero fucks. I don't care. I don't care what people think. I love new metal.
Extreme Rules as a show mostly delivered. On the pre-show, I thought, even though I thought the match on SmackDown was better, I thought Finn Nakamura was a fun match.
I didn't catch that one.
I think Nakamura being IC champ again, pretty cool to see him, actually getting something. Although I really don't care for his Elvis-esque jumpsuit now. Pretty decent Tony Nese, Drew Gulak had a really fun match. And then the show kicked off with the match I was dreading the most of the Graveyard Dogs of Roman Reigns and The Undertaker against
Shane McMahon and Drew
Shane McMahon and
McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre. We said Drew Gulak and Shane McMahon. That's not right. Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon.
That's a weird combo.
I thought that was a really fun match.
That was the WWE sort of, all right, let's do all the big spot stuff, know?
Yes. Best Undertaker match in years. I'm gonna say
probably since maybe the SummerSlam where he fought Brock.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's where I'm at with it. Even though Taker now has this weird high up singlet, which just looked strange all night.
He's 54 or whatever. So.
Right. But like, he didn't embarrass himself, which in and of itself puts it at a higher level than like the last 5 matches he's had.
It's true. Well, and also, being in a tag match helped because he didn't have to be in there the whole time. He wasn't working with another 50-year-old guy who was never that good of a wrestler to begin with, so that helped. Yeah. And he was working with 2.5 performers that are in there every week, and conditioning is up to speed. Sorry, Shane. I didn't think anybody sweated more than Brock Lesnar. It's Shane McMahon.
Right. And they get the same color of purple.
Yeah,
as go on.
It's true. But yeah, it was a fine, sort of house style WWE match that, the baby faces looked good and getting over, and the heels were shitheads and did their shithead things, and it was, I will say it's still impressive to me that Shane McMahon, one, does the elbow drop from the top rope to the table, and two, fucking not sticks the landing, but hits where he's supposed to hit.
Right, exactly. No, he consistently does it. That being said, I mean, he's pushing 50 now. He's gonna get hurt real bad, soon. Like,
he's gonna need a new hip in about 6 months here.
Yeah, it's starting to get very dangerous looking for him, and I appreciate that he's willing to do that. And as I've said on prior shows, like late 90s, early 2000s, there were a few things I enjoyed more than a Shane McMahon spectacle. Hard to call it a match because it was more just, all right, let's build up to him falling off of something crazy.
Yep.
So it's kind of cool to see him still do it, but in the same regard, I'm like, bro, tamper it down. You don't need to do all this. That being said, I feel like maybe they blew out the crowd a little bit because the next 2 matches, while very good, kind of had to fight hard to get the crowd into it. Revival and the Usos, I thought they had a really good match. Crowd was kind of meh. And then Aleister Black and Cesaro had a fucking great match.
Yeah, it did. It was the tag match was fun, but as I feel for all of these matches that I enjoyed on Extreme Rules, there could have been a lot more. And again, I think that's because my mind is set on 15 to 20 minute bangers on takeovers, and also with these G1 matches, and Cesaro and Black got 9-10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It was a great 9-10 minutes, but like, when there's 2 people in there that had clearly really great chemistry and are very evenly matched, and you want to see a lot more of, and I get they're probably leading to something more at SummerSlam, where hopefully we'll get that. But I if there's something I like, I want more of it, and if there's something I don't like, get the fuck off my screen.
Right. Bailey against Alexa and Nikki Cross was just kind of a, it was there. I have nothing against it by any means, but it wasn't anything that I got too excited for. Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, I kind of enjoyed, but it made me recognize how much I hate the 10 counts in last man standing matches. It really just kind of kills the momentum that any of these types of matches have. But the SmackDown tag title match, that was a fucking banger. It was really fun. That. Daniel Bryan, Rowan, The New Day, and Heavy Machinery had a great fucking match. I mean, considering how good a match Daniel Bryan and Rowan had with Heavy Machinery last month, I had a feeling this would be good because Big E and Xavier are definitely on a different level from Heavy Machinery, but I didn't know it was going to be that good and that fun. That said, the follow-up on Tuesday was a little weird. I guess Daniel Bryan's doing the Jericho no talking gimmick now. I don't know.
I didn't watch SmackDown. I was at an airport in fucking Charlotte.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, the match itself was really fun. Everybody went all in on there. I mean, Tuck and Otis really came out looking really fucking solid in that match, doing some crazy shit, and Big E just proving once again that he is an undeniable talent and really needs a singles push. You know, get that world title strap on him at some point, because dude, that guy is nothing but fucking upside. And Brian was always great. I couldn't make out the shirt Rowan was wearing, so that's a bummer, but I'm sure the spreadsheet will tell me once I find that link again.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what came up after that. Oh, Ricochet AJ, great match. Surprised AJ got the belt though.
Yeah, that kind of bummed me out a little bit. You know,
they're definitely not done though. I mean, if that fucking sick
the Super Styles Clash.
Yeah, the Super Styles Clash is one indication, but on Monday, the phenomenal forearm that Ricochet decided, fuck it, I'm going inside out on this on Monday. Yeah, they're not done. They are not done.
He transported himself into a parallel universe, and that's good God. It was a beaut. And yeah, I mean, those two, again, it's another Cesaro Black situation where I want to see more, because they're both super talented and evenly matched in a way that's just exciting to see. But yeah, you know, the whole, I guess if the club's going to be heels and they're going to do the thing, then you got to cheat to win, and you know, lie, cheat, and steal, trademark, and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, I don't know if Ricky O'Shea is going to get himself some backup, or if it's going to be one and only versus all. I don't know, but I'm also wondering what Balor's going to do. I think he's taking some time off. I read
he is. He's supposed to be taking 2 months off, which is pretty crazy. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it's going to be immediate. Like, I don't know if the attack, and we'll get a little more into it, the attack from Bray Wyatt is supposed to build to a SummerSlam match that Wyatt wins and therefore Finn's gone, or if that attack is supposed to take him out. I think we'll have a better idea come Monday. Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens ran 15 seconds, which, you know what? Whatever, man. Like, if the show's running late, do that. Perfect.
No, it was perfect. If you're framing Kevin Owens as the stone cold babyface here, fighting against the McMahon, then this is perfectly how you do it. I loved it. Ziggler sold the hell out of that stunner, and Owens has been really fire on his promos.
Yes.
I mean, he's always been a great promo, but when he's incensed to that point, it really hammers home how good of a talker and performer all around he is. So I'm happy that he's getting the showcase to do this, with Shane, and sure, the match will probably be just fine because of Shane McMahon at some point, but I'm enjoying the build and enjoying Kevin Owens having a run at it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like his fire. I like his focus. I also like how crazy his beard is right now. Like, that is a fierce lumberjack beard on the face of one Kevin Owens these days.
It's not full Daniel Bryan, but we're getting there.
No, he's getting very close to it. I think the only whiff of the show was, shockingly enough, Kofi and Samoa Joe. I wanted that match to be so much more than it was, and as great as Kofi's run to the belt and his win of the title was, it feels like he's had an absolute zero of a run as champion.
Yeah, hard to argue with that. Samoa Joe, he's one of those guys that we know is a legit ass kicker. Has been, the build up was fun, and just them, fucking each other up. So you wanted this full out banger of a match, and Joe gets punked on one Trouble in Paradise.
Yeah, it's weird. For the longest time, I talked on this show about sort of building a modern day Kane. I suggested Rusev for that type of role. Basically, big ass kicker who's upper mid card, who they always can slot into a title shot.
Right.
I feel like that's where Samoa Joe's going. I think he could be so much more, but I think he's just going to be that Kane or Big Show type guy where it's like, oh shit, now you got to go get Samoa Joe, because that's what you do at this point in your career.
Even Kane was WWE champ at one point, wasn't he?
That's true. He was twice. Twice
Yeah.
he was champion.
So, he's
Yeah.
also
So
not, it all goes back to him not being a homegrown talent sort of thing, maybe. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, at some point, I think they will, just because they have to put the title on Samoa Joe, but it's becoming very clear that they see him as not quite the guy, which is a
Yeah.
bummer because, I mean, in ring he kills it, on the mic he kills it. He's got that like pure sports feel when his matches like are kind of the focus. Like, people get into them. People want to see Samoa Joe fuck someone up.
Right.
Look at the rest of the top guys at the company. And I love a lot of them. Like, I don't watch a Seth Rollins match because I'm like, he's gonna fuck somebody up. I watch a Seth Rollins match and be like, that's gonna be a spectacle.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference in how a lot of these guys are perceived, and Joe is just straight up, he's gonna murder someone. So it's a bummer to not see him
Murder someone.
Actually murder someone. Yeah.
Agreed.
Exactly.
I'm with you. I wonder what his contract situation is.
I don't know. I haven't
heard anything about him and any of these rumors and scuttlebutt and talks.
He's a guy like AJ though, where he's getting up there in age, and I almost wonder if he's like, look, man, I struggled in Impact for like 11 years or whatever it was. I'm sticking here. I'm cashing out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's his body is a little weary at this point, a little busted down. There's a lot of travel and everything involved, but the WWE style match that he puts on 3-4 times a week is a lot safer and easier on it than than what he was doing on in Ring of Honor or stuff like that. So yeah, I guess that way it's probably better for him. But I just wonder, if he feels his value is more, than the position he's been put into, this Kane type position. So who knows? I don't have a direct line to Joey Samoa, so I got nothing on that.
I wish I did, because he seems like an awesome guy. Just saying.
I like to have a beer with him.
Yeah, you want to hang out, Joey? Just slide in those DMs. We'll hang out, buddy.
Slide in.
So the main event. Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch against Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans in a winner-take-all mixed tag Extreme Rules match.
That's it.
Was fine. I
kind of enjoyed it for what it was and for who was in it. Very lopsided on the talent pool sort of side of things, with Seth and Becky definitely carrying the weight there. But I character-wise, Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans are great.
Yes.
Wrestler-wise, that's a little bit of the hold-up. Baron's definitely, a lot smoother in the ring than a Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
But for what it was, there were some fun spots in that match.
Yeah.
And you know what? Every now and then WWE legitimately shocks me. And they did when Becky Lynch ate an End of Days from Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
I legit popped for that. I was like, oh shit, I did not expect that to happen. And it was great. And, I enjoyed it personally. And, I like the fact that it riled up Seth to the point where he just fucking lost his mind and hit 16 curb stomps on TGI Friday's second greatest waiter of the month. So, I thought it was fine until
the cash.
It happened.
The cash in. Now, Paul Heyman had been hinting this entire time, even on that show, that Brock would finally cash in.
Yeah, but he's been saying that for months.
I look, I know. So we knew that it was probably imminent. And where I sit with it, and this is why I did not have a tenth of the issues with it that you did, is okay, we have the new era starting, Heyman running Raw, Bischoff running SmackDown. Again, to use kind of a hackneyed analogy from another world, all I could think was like in the world of comics, when one writer ends his arc, usually what he does is he puts all the toys back in the toy box and basically gives a clean slate to the next guy. The whole Brock cash-in was just kind of sitting in the ether. It's something that they had to pull the trigger on eventually. I do think that there are things they could have done which could have been more interesting than that. Cashing in on Kofi would have been interesting. Having Becky stop Brock from cashing in would have been interesting, especially after she ate the end of days. And I actually kind of like the symmetry of Brock cashed in on Seth. Seth has cashed in on Brock. Like, I think that's clever storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And on the whole, I'm not mad just because it's gone now. Like, it's done. We don't need to think about it anymore. Brock with the briefcase felt like a bad idea from the jump, and it's done. But Chris, you clearly feel a bit more passionate about this than
I. Okay. So the Heyman era, I guess, officially began last week, or does it officially begin this week? You couldn't really tell by looking at the show on Monday that it was that much different. So Brock shows up for 1 or 2 weeks with the Universal title, and then what? He goes back and fucking rips some heads off of deers in Minnesota for another 3 months or another 3 weeks until he has to do the go home show for SummerSlam, and then that's it. My issue with Brock is that it's the same old shtick, the same old shit that we've seen 1.5 million fucking times, and it's lost its luster for me. I just don't. I don't like the. I don't like the character. I don't like that he's a champion and the belt isn't on the show every week. I enjoyed seeing Seth Rollins being the fighting champ there and involved in storylines. And sure, people are going to say, well, Seth Rollins' title reign sucked. He didn't do anything. Well, you put him with fucking Baron Corbin for 3 months. The fuck you think's going to happen? I mean, Christ.
Yeah,
you're only as good as your opponent, and if you're pushing up the onion rings deliverer to main event status with the newly crowned champ, then things probably aren't going to go super smoothly. So it's just Brock's going to show up and he's going to do his little dance, maybe throw a suplex or two, go home, collect a $500,000 paycheck for one night, and go home and ravage Sable. And I don't fucking care. His matches are mostly the same. He rarely puts in the effort, and he's there for a paycheck, which respect, get your money, what the fuck ever. But in terms of being interested in the product, Brock Lesnar as champion does not make me interested to watch Raw. Does not make me really care that much about SummerSlam. I'll watch it because I have a podcast and I need have a working knowledge of what's going on in the business to discuss. But we already saw Seth versus Brock a couple times, so it's not like it's nothing new, it's nothing exciting. There are people on the roster that I would love to see get a chance with with a title shot either against Seth or against Brock. I mean, I tweeted out during that match the just a short list of people I would have rather seen in a title program other than Baron Corbin, and I ran out of characters on the tweet because there were so many people that I would have liked to see.
Absolutely. And I think that's where my frustration came in on Monday, because like I said, on Sunday it was like, all right, cool, you're clearing the deck, it's done. And they announced that 10-man battle royal or whatever the hell it was for Raw.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that list of guys and I was going, okay, Baron Corbin, all right, fine. Braun Strowman, they could finally button that up. Randy Orton,
we've seen it before.
We've seen it before, don't need to see it again. Rey Mysterio, that could be interesting. Cesaro, that could be interesting. Yes. Sami Zayn, that could be interesting. Bobby Lashley, they've been talking about it for forever, and they could play it up like it's an MMA super fight, so what the fuck, whatever. Seth Rollins, we just saw it. Roman Reigns, please God, not again. And then the big one, fucking Big E. And I was going, whoa. That reeked of Heyman to me. Like, he's going to throw this guy in there, and he's going to give us this, out of nowhere swerve that, holy fuck, Big E against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I had this minute moment of optimism where I thought this will be something that pushes things forward, and it's this moment of change and what have you. And then the fucking match happened, and we're getting Seth against Brock again.
Yeah, I know. And the Seth who, lost the title at the cash-in with just one F5. Just one. That was it. He kicked out of like 4 of them at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
just one put him away here. I mean, I get he had just
I guess
had
that anger adrenaline didn't continue on 30 seconds after the match.
It was just okay. Well, it's Lesnar wins. LOL. Here we are. 1 F5 murder, death, kill, and it's I love Seth. He's one of my favorite dudes in the company. And bless him for flying the flag as frequently and as loudly as he does. But man, I
will say this: his New York Yankees analogy that he made this week, pretty fucking accurate. A bunch of people who go there for the paycheck, and we remember when they played better. But anyway, go on.
No, it is spot on. That wasn't his reason. That
wasn't what he meant. Shit.
But yeah, no, I get that. I get that analogy, but I just, in terms of me personally, is Brock Lesnar as Universal Champion making me more interested to watch WWE programming? It's a big fucking NO. Having Brock around as a special attraction to fight big dudes, have big house fights every now and then.
Or fight the little dude.
Yeah, or fight a little dude. Yeah, I love David Goliath, but just I don't like him holding the championship, as stupid as a championship as it is, being the Universal title, which we've all just kind of accepted is a shitty thing, but we deal with it anyway. It's just fucking, I don't like it, and I don't want it. I'm not inclined to spend more time or money to put towards that product at that point.
And unfortunately, between Raw and SmackDown both, I don't know who the first person was pointing out, but I know Matthew from Botchamania really put together the damning evidence on this. Okay, so Brock's champion again. Oh, wait, AJ Styles is U.S. champion again. Oh, wait, Shane McMahon is feuding with Kevin Owens. Oh, wait, Bray Wyatt is back, and he's feuding with Finn Balor.
Oh, wait, the New Day is tag team champion.
New Day have the tag belts. It's fucking October 2017. Chris, I started on this show not long after that. We wiped the entire slate clean and gone back. This is the trouble when you put a guy named Marty in the mix. Things just go back. They just go back. I didn't know we were going 88 miles an hour on the road to SummerSlam. We've just gone back. What? Why? Why, Chris? Why?
Like, you shouldn't have made out with your mother.
If my mother was 80s Leah Thompson, I would consider that. Good.
Hey, she made it with a duck, so there's a whole bunch of.
That's true. And I will point out. I think it was I saw it on Reddit this week. Why exactly does Marty McFly's dad have his wife's attempted rapist clean his car every week? That seems weird in retrospect. Yeah. Hey, honey, I know this guy sexually assaulted you. He's going to clean our car.
It's a form of emasculation. That's what it is.
How it works.
I think Papa McFly's upstairs looking out the window, just cranking it, blasting all over the window, and then he has Biff come up and then clean the window of his own seed that he jacked all over the window, watching him clean his wife's car. I think that's how it works. It was a deleted scene. Zemeckis couldn't get it cleared with the studio. He even called Spielberg to help, but it didn't really help. But yeah, that was a deleted scene. I saw that on a Chinese DVD bootleg of Back to the Future that I saw.
Yeah, no, it was part of the same cut with the kid from Mask. I understand the Eric version of Back to the Future. That's a deep Back to the Future cut, by the way.
Mask
story. Yeah, that's my problem. I mean, as much we've pointed it out. Okay, Kevin Owens is cutting these fire promos about Shane McMahon. A, we've seen it before with the two of them as a program. Yeah. B, yes, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin redone. C, I don't know. That especially right now, although look, the ratings are going up again. So I will just say into my internet purchase microphone while recording in my basement, I don't know shit about this. You have your top babyface on SmackDown telling the audience that the show sucks and you shouldn't watch it. I don't know if that's a great move. I don't think that's a great idea. I think that's a pretty poor form. I still don't love that, but the crowd's reacting to him. And honestly, I thought SmackDown as a whole was a pretty good show this week. As frustrating as Raw was, I mean, we're building some interesting stuff over on SmackDown. Whatever they're going to pull the trigger on with Daniel Bryan, I think that's interesting. Ember Moon getting a SmackDown title shot is fucking dope.
Yeah, way beyond time for that.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens on the Blue brand, which, I mean, to be fair, is almost universally true.
Right.
But what's also interesting is as we are getting closer to the Fox launch and we have Eric Bischoff starting to take power behind the scenes, is all these stories started to come out this week because there was the upfront discussions from Fox to their affiliates about what to expect with SmackDown joining the Fox family. We're looking at more of a sports themed presentation overall. So there might actually be some changes in terms of commentary, up to and including that might be why Shawn Michaels is doing commentary this week on SmackDown, because it sounds like they want an ex-wrestler in the booth. I mean, Shawn was terrible at Mania, but he was really fun during Halftime Heat. So
he was fun, but he was over the top putting these guys over. You know, for the Halftime Heat thing. And look, I love me some Shawn Michaels, but you know,
it's not the best choice.
Corey Graves wrestled.
He did until his brain got.
I get it.
Yeah.
But you know, as long as we don't get Booker T back in the booth, I think shucky ducky quack quack.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, big sports push. There's going to be a week before SmackDown airs. There's going to be a primetime special explaining the world of the WWE to non-fans.
Good luck with that shit.
Including an explanation of quote unquote insider wrestling terms. I don't know if that means they're going to be like heel, face, that sort of thing, or terms like count out, suplex, that sort of thing. And then the part that I love the most, to promote the move to Fox, they're going to have a Lex Express. This is 100% true. A Lex Express style moving truck going from city to city filled with WWE superstars.
Oh god. Well, at least they don't have to pay their own travel for that.
yeah. They got that going for them. Oh, and the most commonly believed rumor in professional wrestling was all but guaranteed, as Fox representatives told the affiliates that they anticipate having NXT on Fox Sports 1 in the fall on Wednesday nights.
So would that preclude it from being on WWE Network, or would it also be on WWE Network?
That was not addressed, and while I can understand it, because I don't think Fox gives two fucks about what's aired on the WWE Network by comparison, but it's going to be interesting because if everything lines up as it's supposed to, that puts them right against AEW on a weekly basis.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's WWE's best chance at chipping away is with NXT, because you're fighting for the same people, us.
Yeah, exactly. The hardcore dorks. That's really what they're going for there.
Clearly, and NXT, you know, they're kind of working on rebuilding and building some new stars down there. So it's going to be, you know, interesting to see, with a more national exposure on cable, if it all comes to fruition, how the presentation is going to change. Is it going to stay being taped a month in advance? Is it going to stay at Full Sail? Are they going to do a traveling sort of thing like Raw does and SmackDown does? Who knows? I mean, you know, there are a lot of implications, as we talked about last week, with, you know, the NXT pay and travel schedule as opposed to a main roster sort of thing. So if they start to become a traveling brand doing live shows every week, then their pay is going to have to be adjusted to reflect that, and or they could unionize.
Yeah. Don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, it's you know, there's a possibility there. Did you watch NXT this week, by the way?
I did.
I thought it was a real great fucking episode. The Matt Riddle match was super good.
So, most Riddle matches are. He's great, but then I loved Killian Dane. Definitely dropped a few lbs. It looked like he looks like a full-on monster right now, attacking Riddle after his match. So I'm here for that.
Yeah, and then the breakout tournament match with Bronson Reed and Dexter Loomis. I enjoyed that a lot.
I didn't expect to enjoy Dexter Loomis because on paper, I'm like, all right, he's just really leaning into the Dexter bit that he was doing in Impact.
Comes out as Dexter to not quite the Stranger Things theme.
Yes, thank you. But the entrance I think was fucking great. Just the crazy wide eyes, the slow walk, this like it was Stalker, Waylon Mercy, Dexter sort of, and I love the way he like caressed the rope, and it was just it was really well done, and I'm here for it. I'm excited to see what they do with that character, and he looked really good in the ring as well. He looked good in defeat, which is clearly the point of this tournament. And Jonah Rock, aka Bronson Reed, dude's a big boy. He gets around that top the top rope splash with all that meat coming down, busting on your gut. That's a brutal finisher right there.
And then the main event of this week. What ended up being the main event, besides the Gargano Cole angle, was a match where when people point out and say, "Why the fuck did anyone care about Apollo Crews?" That match with Kushida is one you can point to and go, "That's why people liked Apollo Crews," because that match fucking ruled. I loved that a lot. I don't know why we got a random appearance of Apollo Crews on NXT, but hey, when that's the result, I'm cool with it.
I think they're trying to, they're putting over Kushida as, the guy who can beat main roster people or, everything like that. And I really enjoyed it as well. And yeah, Apollo Crews has zero personality, but damn, can he fucking wrestle?
Yeah. And on the Gargano Cole front, we actually found out what the stipulations are going to be for their main event in Toronto. I think it wasn't on the show proper. I think it was only on Twitter that it got announced.
Okay. I don't remember that.
As William Regal announced that they are running back 3 stages of hell for these guys.
Oh,
so yeah. Okay. Yeah, they haven't announced what the 3 stipulations will be. Basically, the idea is one is chosen by Cole, one is chosen by Gargano, and the last one will be chosen by Regal. But I can't recall the last time they've run that stipulation, but I like that one a lot. It actually resulted in one of my favorite matches ever, the Triple H Austin 3 stages of hell.
They did a similar bit in Lucha Underground with the 3 stages of war or something like that with AR Fox and Swerve, who is now in NXT and also getting a shot on 205 Live.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I guess he must have impressed people in the tournament, because Isaiah Swerve Scott, aka Shane Strickland, popping up on 205 this week against Drew Gulak. I wonder if he's going to start doing like split time the way Oni Lorcan's doing.
I'm for it, because anything that gets Swerve in front of more eyes, I'm into, and being in there with Gulak should be great. And speaking of 205 Live, Jack Gallagher and Chad Gable, man. These 2 guys beat the shit out of each other, and it was amazing.
Yeah, they did. I know it's been said 1,001 times about this guy, but if there's any proof that Chad Gable should be an infinitely bigger star than he is, I mean, hell, Jack Gallagher too. It's that match. That match fucking ruled. If you haven't watched either one of them, run back 205 Live on the network. Honestly, 205 Live is like one of those sneaky good shows. It's really easy to watch. I did like how the Drake Maverick, Mike Kanellis angle kind of came through from Raw. But it's a really fun show. And that match was super dope. Quick Ring of Honor note, Chris.
Yeah, I know they had Manhattan Mayhem last night.
Yeah, Manhattan Mayhem last night. The continued push of Kenny King for no discernible reason happened here, as they were planning on doing Matt Taven against Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor title, but Kenny King added himself to it. Shock of shocks, Matt Taven retained the title, so he's going to be going against Alex Shelley in their Toronto SummerSlam weekend show, and the Briscoes have won back the Ring of Honor tag belts from the Gorillas of Destiny.
I saw the finishing spot from that match, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Also speaking of the Briscoes, they have signed an extension with Ring of Honor. So
I mean, not a total shock,
not a surprise. But if you had any hopes of them popping up in the AEW,
right, with their supposed focus on tag team wrestling, they definitely were one team that are specialists at tag team wrestling. But I don't know if it's a comfort thing for the Briscoes. I mean, they're hands down, maybe with Jay Lethal, the longest tenured Ring of Honor talent.
Oh, they flat out are. They have been there since the first show.
There you go. So it's locally based for them. I'm sure it's easy for them, but also I think putting Mark and Jay Briscoe on such a wide live sort of basis on cable maybe
probably not the best move.
Yeah, so they're happy there, they're doing well there. They're like a million-time tag team champion there, so good on them. And even Jay had that killer run as Ring of Honor champ for like a year and a half or two,
and they could pull that trigger anytime with him.
Sure. They're both super talented. So what else? I was trying to follow all the shenanigans with the venue and ticket sales last night. Yes. So apparently they had taken the top balcony off the market until yesterday when they released a whole bunch of tickets for it, but then they were giving upgrades to lower level.
They drew 500 people.
That was it?
They drew 500 people at a 2,500 seater.
In New York City.
The venue that they just sold out a few months ago with 16,000 people or whatever it was, they drew 500. And I saw a bunch of armchair quarterbacks on Twitter, and the main thing I saw that I agreed with is Ring of Honor has no specific appeal right now. You look at like the other indies that have their thing. Mm-hmm. PWG is where all the buzz is. You see guys debut, you see guys have great matches. GCW does crazy matches. AEW, that's where the elite guys are. It's the cool stuff. When New Japan comes to the States, it's this crazy import product. WWE, they're like the top tier. They are the MLB, the NBA of professional wrestling. Ring of Honor used to be the place where you saw good matches, and that's not true anymore. Not that they have bad matches, but I'm just saying they're not the work rate company they used to be.
Right.
They don't have the elite. That was not a show filled with import talent. I don't know what their draw is anymore. Like literally their slogan is they're the best wrestling on the planet, and that's objectively not true anymore.
It's true. Yeah, you're right. Like they need a hook. They need a new hook. They need I don't know if it's a rebranding, not like change their name, but like refocus what they're doing.
And they've got fucking Bandito and Roosh under these massive deals, and they're doing fuck all with them.
I know. Yeah,
it's just sad.
Yeah, and the like I said with the review from the show that they did in Baltimore a couple weeks ago, that they do have a fair amount of good talent there, but it's turned into like a watered down Impact.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, even Impact has more buzz surrounding them right now.
A little bit, yeah.
Because they're like, I mean, they've had a really fervent fan base for a very long time, which I don't really understand. But also, they're trying to do different things.
Yeah,
they're trying to make intergender wrestling mainstream, which I think is a fool's errand. But they're trying.
Yeah,
I don't know what Ring of Honor's doing, and it bums me out because that was my shit from 2002 on. I loved that company, and I just look at what they're doing now, and I'm baffled. And I don't know what they can do to fix it. Before we get into G1, and I know we're running long already. Before we get into G1, did you watch all of Fight for the Fallen?
I stopped at Omega and Shima. I haven't seen that to the end.
Okay. I watched the show. I thought it was an alright show. I saw an analogy online that I really liked, which may make it sound like damning with faint praise. And Chris, this may not make sense to you, but in the glory days of Ring of Honor, because they were a heavy DVD product, every few months they would do a buy 3, get 1 free sale. This was definitely the one free. In terms of shows, like it wasn't bad by any means. It just was the least essential of the shows. I loved Shima and Omega. I really enjoyed the 3-way tag match. I thought I wanted more out of the Rhodes brothers, the Brotherhood and Young Bucks. But it wasn't a bad show by any means. Really, the things that stood out to me were, like we talked about last week, like the cool set. Like I thought it was a real cool setup, but on the whole, it was fine. It was not a world beater of a show.
I was a little, and this is, don't take a drink while you're listening to this. I was disappointed in the Lucha Brothers match.
Oh, whoa!
It was very mistimed. A lot of the spots, I don't know who it was on, if it was on SCU or if it was on them, but there were a lot of just really awkward transitions and people not being where they needed to be for certain moves, and it did not flow well and sit well with me. And that, for me, as a huge mark of the Lucha Bros, really, really kind of bummed me out.
Yeah, understandable. Now, all that being said, let's get to the part you've been waiting for since the start of the show.
Yeah.
G1 talk. Chris, we have 5 days of G1 to talk about.
Holy shitballs.
Do you just want to talk
my
highlights? I've got
no, we can't, if you're interested in my thoughts of each match of each night, I've updated a Patreon post with star ratings for each match. Yeah. Now we've done 7 nights total, and we've talked about the first 2, like you said. So there have been a couple amazing matches of this past run of shows this week.
Yeah. So night 3, I just want to real quickly talk about ZSJ and Okada and Kenta and Tanahashi. ZSJ Okada, really great match. Cool to see basically an Okada sprint, because they went like 12 minutes as opposed to Okada's standard 30 minimum. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. And as a guy who, treated Japanese wrestling tapes for the longest time, getting to see a match like Kenta Tanahashi was basically one of those matches I never thought I'd see. The closest analogy I could think of to American wrestling was when we finally got AJ versus Cena. Yeah. Just one of those things where it's like, these guys were their icons for their companies for the longest time. People thought it would never happen, and I thought it was really good. It has been clearly outshone since then.
Yes.
But in terms of lightning in a bottle moment, never thought you'd see this. I thought was really good and delivered. And Kenta, throughout this whole tournament so far, is showing us he's still got gas in the tank, which is really, really cool.
Gas and dickheadedness is just spot on. Really, really good there. I agree with you. I also, because I'm full on Ospreay mark. Ospreay and Sonata was also really good match that night as well. Moving on to B block, night number 4. For me, my favorite match that night was Ishii and Jay White. Jay White, I believe, is 0-4. Has he had his 4th match yet?
Let's see. I think he's 0-3.
He's 0-3 at this point. So a rebuilding tournament for Jay White, but he really held his own against Ishii. Ishii, there's a lot of great fucking wrestlers having great matches in this tournament, but Ishii has consistently been one to watch, and we'll get to his match with Mox in a minute. But the Ishii Jay White match was fantastic, with Jay White holding his own against the big Stone Pitbull. I also enjoyed that night Naito and Taichi. Taichi was one that I still don't entirely get. He's a weird dude, but he really showed that he can fucking go and hang with a match with Naito, which was fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed that match as well. Really, the match that I was looking forward to that kind of whiffed it for me was Moxley and Cobb. There was something missing there. I don't know what it is.
It's like they didn't. They both have another gear, but neither of them really got to it.
Yeah. It kind of made me think of like CM Punk and Jericho, 2 guys who every time they had a match, there was like an expectation to be really good and it wasn't, or AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, where you're like, I love these guys. And then they go against each other and like, this isn't good.
It wasn't bad.
Neither were those matches. It's just like, this isn't what your mind's eye was hoping for.
in your mind's eye.
Yes, yes,
Vegan soy in that one.
yes, exactly.
It's milk and eggs, bitch. Agreed. And Juice and Goto that night was actually pretty good as well.
Yeah.
I didn't get what I wanted out of Shingo and Yano, which was a straight up murdering of Toru Yano by Shingo Takagi.
He got there though. He murdered him at the end.
Yeah, but it wasn't a full on like squash murder, which is the assassination of Toru Yano by the coward Shingo Takagi sort of thing. But that was night 4. Night 5.
Night 5 is when you got to start pulling out the galaxies, man. Holy shit.
So the night started with Kenta versus Lance Archer. And Lance Archer, another one of those guys who is coming out of nowhere, just like blowing people's minds in this tournament. Hell of a match with Kenta, but Kenta, just is going to Kenta. And he went out there and laid into him, man.
Yeah, and I really liked Evil and Sonata. I think that kind of put a pin in the whole disruption of LIJ concerns with Evil. Those boys just need to slug it out, and they got it out.
You just gotta, throw each other around the ring, and they ended with the fist bump, which was a happy ending.
Yeah.
Who went over there? Sonata went over.
Evil went over.
Evil went over. Yeah. Evil's been having a pretty good tournament so far.
He really has. We didn't talk about it, but I did like his match with Ibushi also.
Did we skip over that one? Yeah, that one. Oh yeah, he beat Ibushi.
Yeah,
that was Ibushi's second L there.
Yeah.
We also had a rare 2-star match from Kazuchika Okada. With Bad Luck Fale.
Fale proving he's not a broom because he can't be carried to 3 stars by Kazuchika Okada.
Right, exactly. But then, there were 2 almost near perfect matches. You had ZSJ and Tanahashi.
Yeah, which I liked better than the MSG match, and I liked the MSG match a lot.
Dude, Tana was on fucking fire.
Yeah.
Hell of a good match. And ZSJ in defeat. That was his 3rd loss of the tournament, I think, or 2nd.
We'll look back at the standings when we wrap this up. Yeah,
hard to keep track. But yeah, those 2 went after it. ZSJ being the submission guy and going after the arm. And I think he was attacking a leg as well.
Yeah,
when Tana, and man, those guys went at it. But Christ, Ospreay and Kota Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi came into this with a fucked up ankle.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay came into this with a fucked up neck.
Yep. So what do they proceed to do?
They proceed to go 8 stars. Jesus fucking Christ. I have so few words. I mean, they were in a hot fucking fire Hurricane Hall, which certainly helped. They had a banger of a match back at Tokyo Dome, which Ibushi got knocked stupid in. And this, I guess, is what would have happened if they did not have a concussed Ibushi, because this was unreal. Literally one of the best matches I've seen this year. Like, Ospreay is on a whole nother level, as we saw also later in the week. But fuck, this match is good, dude.
it really was. And Ibushi, he's not human. He's just or he's an insane.
Neither one of them are.
Yeah, it's almost like watching a video game, and it's so amazing that they're able to do these things and still walk afterwards. Limping and holding their necks, but walking nonetheless. Yeah, that was at that time the best match of the tournament. The following night was B block. We had Tai Chi and Shingo, which I thought was really, really good. And Tai Chi came out hot, and Shingo always strong in there.
Cobb and Juice.
Cobb and Juice was also really good. All these, majority of these guys are really putting it all out there, for which I know is kind of the G1 thing. But man, it's to have this level of matches, back to back on back to back nights for so long. It's really impressive. Jay White Toriano was kind of comedy heavy. Gato getting involved, and Brass Knucks and Nut Shots and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But this is what you're going to get with Toriano. And then Goto and Naito going after it was fucking great as well.
Yeah. I I dug that. But I mean, the match to talk about, fucking Jon Moxley and Tomohiro Ishii. Goddamn, just if you like no nonsense, hard nosed brawling.
Yeah.
That's what this match was. You know who would fucking love this match? Justin. Justin would lose some shit over this match because this is just two guys going out there and beating the shit out of it. No flippy doos, no indie respect spots, just guys beating the shit out of each other.
Just elbowing their fucking ears off.
Yeah. By the way, towards the end, Moxley pulling out the regal knee to the head. Yeah. Mwah, what a wonderful shout out to his former trainer in OVW.
How about fucking Ishii going off the top rope, splashing Mox through a fucking table? Are you kidding me? It was insane. And then the only thing that detracted it from me was they did a headbutt trading spot.
Yeah,
where it was so obviously clear they were holding back and not trying to murder each other. It really kind of took me out of the match for a split second. Yeah. That was the only thing that kept it from 5 stars for me, because I enjoyed everything else about it aside from that. Like if you know, obviously we don't want people to Shibata themselves. Right. So, you know, and Ishii is very, very liberal with his headbutts as is. Just don't do that spot. Like I don't you know, because it looks silly.
All I could say is that match, you know, one of the biggest question marks going into the G1 this year, and hell, the man himself, even though he didn't say he was going to be in the G1, in that Jericho interview, Moxley was like, "Look, I'm going to do some things this year that are going to get me out of my comfort zone that I'm not used to doing." And there was that question mark: how will Jon Moxley fit into New Japan? How will he fit into the G1? Turns out really fucking well, because his run, I mean, going back to the Juice match through now, has been super impressive. The matches have been great. The promos he's been cutting are hysterical.
It's true. I love that he's got Shota Umino as Shooter. Shooter. That's right. As his young boy, following him around with the title and everything. It's fucking it's great. He seems comfortable, which is good after a short amount of time, and be happy. And I'm happy that he's happy.
Did you see the promo he cut? I forget which night it was, but he's like, the wife's gonna be mad at me, all the tables and chairs. Yeah.
It's like, blame Ishii, was his idea.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna be so mad at me, pulling out all the tables and chairs.
They were legit like sword fighting with chairs, and it was amazing, and I loved it.
So good. It was so good. So yeah, watch that match. Like if right now, if we're telling you just the matches to watch, Ospreay and Ibushi and Ishii and Mox for sure. And then we had night 7. That was yesterday. That was Friday.
No, Saturday.
Oh yeah, Saturday. Sorry. Today's Sunday. My brain is fucked.
Come on.
Yes. No, I'm back with you.
That was a really good night.
Really good night. Ibushi
Sonata. The 5 matches were good to great.
Yes. Ibushi Sonata fucking rolled.
Yes, it did.
I really enjoyed Evil Kenta. But I mean, sorry, Ospreay Ibushi. You might have just got knocked into the fucking sun by another great match, as Okada and Ospreay had really one of the best matches I've ever seen.
It was otherworldly. I mean, you know, a lot has been said about Okada over the past couple years, and Ospreay is having one of the best years of anybody ever, probably. Those two guys just went out there and just dropped jaws. There was so many ridiculous spots. The one chop, I'll have to find it and retweet it, that Ospreay landed on Okada, it sounded like a legit shotgun blast. It was murderous. And the reversals, you know, everything about the match as a whole was amazing, but the last 3 minutes will legit blow your mind.
Yeah. So goddamn good. So great. I mean, it's hard to think of more positive terms to use because like I said, like we had this great match with Ospreay and Ibushi, and then a few days later, blown out of the water. Like it's done. So
she had a banger with Sonata right before it too.
I know, and that looked like that was going to be one of the best matches of the year, but nope. So right now the standings are A block. We've got a tie for first, Kenta and Okada with 8 points. Then we've got a tie for second, 4 points, Evil, Kota Ibushi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Then everybody else in A blocks got 2. And then the B block led by Moxley with 6 points, tie for second, 4 points of Tomohiro Ishii, Juice Robinson, Shigo Takagi, and weirdly enough, Toru Yano. Then everybody but Jay White has 2 points, as Jay White still has a goose egg here.
Yeah, and a couple other quick little hits. I love the ZSJ Fale finish where he got the count out, and was it? How did hold on, what was Yano? Yano was Jay White. Was that the surprise one? Who else did Yano? Shingo? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, because he hit the brass knuck low blow and then then got his roll up victory for Yano, the annual thing. And Archer versus Tanahashi from Saturday's show as well was actually really good. Tana was again on fire, and he's moving like he's 10 years younger right now. Wondering how long it can last, but I'm enjoying it while it does. Kenta crushing it. Yeah, it's just been it's a lot of wrestling.
It's been good wrestling,
but it's been really good wrestling, and that's the thing. Like, if it's of the quality that I like, and of the style that I want to spend what very little free time I have catching up in 2 hours of shows per day, and I'm happy to do it because these guys are just fucking out of this world, destroying each other for my entertainment, and I couldn't love it anymore.
Well, the good news is, Chris, you have a few days off as the G1 Climax picks back up on Wednesday with B block action, and it's going to be Juice Robinson against Toru Yano, Hiroki Goto versus Taichi, John Moxley versus Shingo Takagi.
Hell yes.
Should be dope. Jeff Cobb against Jay White also should be dope. And another chapter in the always great Naito Ishii feud. That's the main event for Wednesday. So Wednesday's show again should be really good. Guys, professional wrestling fucking rules right now, and some things may not work for us, but goddamn New Japan is.
Fuck off, Brock Lesnar.